Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Thursday, September 25th, and as you can see from the headline today, big news. The Epstein criminal enterprise is wobbling. They are desperately trying to keep a lid on the Epstein files. Both Democrats and Republicans. We've been watching this story for quite some time. Tom Massie, along with Ro Khanna, a Democrat, put forth a discharge petition, and they have succeeded. It is official. They have the votes necessary to force a vote in the House to release all of the Epstein files. And it's a major story. This is a big deal that we are going to talk about today from the Hill. Lawmakers in both parties fighting to force the Trump administration to release all the federal files on Jeffrey Epstein took a big step closer to their goal this week. Adelita Grijalva, she is a Democrat, recently elected. She had a victory on Tuesday in a special House election in southern Arizona. And this will send another vote, the final vote for Tom Massie's discharge petition. It is signed primarily by Democrats. We've had to drag the Republicans kicking and screaming to this. And in fact, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, has attempted all sorts of shenaniganizing in order to keep a lid on this, including shutting down the House of Representatives early this past summer to delay one of the original votes. It looks like they may try that again. They may try to shut down the House once again to keep one Adelita Grijalva from being sworn in. That would continue the delay of the release of these files. But this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And as you can see, I think that there is a growing chorus of both Democrats and Republicans across the United States of America who are saying, you know what? We're done. Enough is enough. We know that there's there. We obviously know that sex trafficking, child sex trafficking occurred. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of trafficking young girls. Ghislaine Maxwell convicted of trafficking young girls. And where it ends are with the Johns. Where were those girls trafficked? To whom were those girls trafficked? And what is the infrastructure, the larger criminal infrastructure behind Epstein? There are many now saying that Jeffrey Epstein was not a criminal mastermind, that Jeffrey Epstein was a plug-in. He was part of a larger criminal apparatus that did not just involve honeypots and intelligence agencies and coercion and blackmail operations. It also involved weapons trafficking and money laundering and human trafficking and narcotics trafficking. And this is the bigger story. This is why I do believe, I agree with so many of my colleagues who are following this, that this Epstein scandal, this Epstein files saga is one of the biggest stories in the nation today. And we have to remain focused. As you guys know, I mean, I'm convinced at this point that the blitzkrieg of relentless and chaotic news headlines is absolutely a control tactic meant to keep citizens afraid, confused, divided, left versus right, and overwhelmed as the planners move us into the new 21st century digital control model. This is the model that Catherine Austin Fitts has been talking about, Patrick Wood has been talking about, our friend Derek Brose, the last American vagabond. So many in the new independent media understand that this is an operation against the people of the United States of America, committed by our own government against us. It is a larger operation that involves both political parties and also elements of criminal organization. And so this is why it's important, it's critically important to prioritize and focus on the events of the events that the global technofascists don't want us to focus on and they don't want us to notice. So right now, I believe that they would prefer that we look away from, first and foremost, there are three critical stories that I think we need to focus on. First is the global digital control grid and that infrastructure. Every single act of violence, every single hyped media story about an act of violence is going to result in another executive order, piece of legislation, or attempt to move us into further digital surveillance. And we saw that just yesterday with the latest ICE shooting in Texas. I can't believe that anyone is falling for this, guys. They are building the digital control grid as I'm speaking to you today, and they're using, I mean, you saw this, there was a shooting on September 24th, right? A gunman opened up fire on an ICE van at a detention center in Dallas from a nearby rooftop. Kash Patel posts out a picture of casings. What are they? An official image on social media showing a bullet casing inscribed with anti-ICE, right? Completely obvious, scribbled onto it by the perpetrator, which has now obviously fueled speculation about the shooter's motive. Can you guess what it is, right? So I'm sorry, I can't believe people are falling for this, but okay, right? Clearly the shooter was motivated by anti-Republican, anti-Trump, anti-ICE rhetoric, and that's what Donald Trump said in a statement about the shooting. But now, of course, like clockwork, right? An investigation didn't even happen. We haven't even had an investigation, right? The shooting happens. Kash Patel comes out, says it's a leftist, Democrat, anti-ICE agitator who went violent, all right? And now you already have President Donald Trump announcing officially his intention to sign an executive order next week to dismantle domestic terrorism networks. All right, that is a very broad statement. And what does it mean to be a domestic terrorist? Is it someone who questions this administration? Someone like myself who believes that everything they say to us is a lie, like everything? I don't trust one word out of the mouth of Kash Patel, whether it's about the Kirk shooting or this most recent ICE violence or the Epstein files. In fact, how can we possibly trust anything that comes out of this administration from Donald Trump or Kash Patel when Donald Trump is the one that is telling us that the entire Epstein scandal is a Democrat hoax? And Kash Patel, with a straight face, will go to Capitol Hill and testify that there were no clients. Are you kidding me? Right? They're doing everything they can, from the Speaker of the House to the head of the FBI to the President of the United States himself, to keep a lid on this criminal organization that is now being exposed because of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. And so right now we have to keep our heads about our shoulders, keep calm and carry on, not be distracted by whatever the news of the day is or whatever the controversy is over Tylenol or these recent actions. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. They are building the control grid before our eyes. So I think that is the overarching most important story of the day. The digital control grid, artificial intelligence. As you know, Donald Trump, we reported this yesterday, went to the United Nations and announced that he's going to build a global AI identification system to combat blah, 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 whatever it is, right? The digital control grid. We know they want to use biometrics, they want a digital ID, and they want to move us into a digital currency. Link those together, use a social credit system to monitor and surveil us all, and then that entire grid clicks in. It's a global initiative. This is round 2 COVID lockdowns were round one. They are moving us with increasing instability, calls for World War III and nuclear war, more trouble and violence here in the United States of America. Everything is moving us towards the next lockdown. And once again, it will be initiated by the Trojan horse, Donald Trump, in my opinion. The other thing the other thing that I think they want to hide from us or get us to ignore is the fake two-party political system. The fact that for the most part, leadership in both in both the Republican and Democratic parties, save a few, like 1% of the party system, in Washington, D.C., are actually working together to expand the digital control grid. They've given up, right? They're handing this nation, our country, our people, our Constitution, our natural resources, our God-given natural rights over to the multi-billionaire globalist technocrat planners. And that's what I think the biggest story of the day is. And then third, the Epstein criminal enterprise. And that is because, as I mentioned, the Epstein story is more than sex trafficking, and it's more than Epstein himself. Again, Epstein was not a mastermind. He was a plug-in. He was part of a larger system and a larger criminal enterprise. And we can see this with the very, very diligent reporting of not only Whitney Webb, but our friend Ryan Christian over The Last American Vagabond. Derek Brose is fantastic. The people involved in the Free Thought Project are all very good on this. So those are the three things that I think we need to make sure that we are taking care of and focusing on. We're going to be continuing to focus on that today on the Shannon Joy Show. So we have a lot to get to. I have a lot of videos that I want to share with you today. A fantastic video from someone that I haven't followed in the past. Her name is Carrie Wedler. It is a killer video exposing the Uni-party. We're going to look at that. Also, the tech bubble, right? We are being convinced that artificial intelligence is coming. The robots are coming. We can't hide. Mass surveillance is inevitable, right? But there are many out there who are now saying, listen, there's no there. Everything that they're saying about robotics and AI, like it sounds great, but the technology just isn't there. In fact, the tech bubble is maybe one of the biggest bubbles that we've seen since 2008, maybe ever. And this is why you're seeing huge rallies and huge increases in the value of gold and silver just over the last couple days. So the AI rally may be the new .com bubble. I have that linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show to give you an idea. But more and more people are ringing the alarm bell saying this is a massive bubble, including Ed Dowd and Ray Dalio. In fact, we're going to have Catherine Austin Fitz next week on the Shannon Joy Show. She's the head of Solari Report. She has a great handle on not only the economics of this, but also the technocratic agenda. And so she's going to be with us. Yeah, exactly. The entire stock market, Opossum King, I see you on the live chat, is 7 AI stocks. And one of them is NVIDIA. Now, I have a great video to play for you as well on the NVIDIA scam, and it features Al Bundy. This is from another new amazing Twitter account that I just found. This is, he calls himself, what does he call himself? Nobody special. And his handle is at JG_nuke, and he does great videos. And so we're going to feature those for you today in the intro of the Shannon Joy Show, because again, as I mentioned, one of the critical components in understanding the political landscape today is to understand that there are no separate and distinct parties. The two parties, Republicans and Democrats, work together in an absolutely amazing way. I mean, it is like a symphony when you see how well in terms of growing and expanding the size and the scope of the federal government, moving us into the digital control grid and distracting us away with whatever the circus sideshow headline of the day is, away from the three things that I talked about in this intro, right? The global digital control grid, the fake two-party political system, and the Epstein criminal enterprise, which is about much more than just Jeffrey Epstein. So that's really where we're going to be focusing on the Shannon Joy Show for the next few months. There are very few shows like this out there. As you know, not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser, every single day. We are looking for solutions, and we're looking outside of the two-party political apparatus, especially in Washington, D.C., for those solutions. Yes, Buskman, Al is the goofy character on Married with Children, but it's a brilliant video. It's a brilliant video, and I'm going to let that be the explainer for all of you. We do have a special guest later in the program. We're going to welcome Ellie Hirsch into the Joy virtual studio. She is a certified nutrition, a wellness coach, and for the first time, we're going to dive into gut health. I know I've talked a little bit about gut health recently and the microbiome, good bacteria, bad bacteria, how it all works, and metabolic health. We know that the health epidemic in this country has to do with the vaccines, right? But there are also ways that we can protect our own bodies and make changes involving our gut. And so we're going to learn about that today. She's going to come in right around 12:45 p.m. Eastern time, 12:50 p.m. Eastern time. This is a sponsored interview, amazing new sponsor, Brightcore, and a product that I've been using, Kimchi One. So we're going to talk about fermentation and all of that good stuff. I'm super pumped to have this conversation because the whole gut thing has always seemed to me like this massive discussion, and it's always seemed so complicated. So I'm really pumped to have a EMF too. Yes, lupine. I see the EMF as well. Well, you know, Catherine Austin Fitts calls it the great poisoning. And so they're coming at us from every angle. They're injecting us, the EMF, the, chemicals that they spray in the air, on our soil, in our water, also what's in our food. I mean, it's all there. But apparently your gut is a huge deal. It's just a huge deal. Like so many inflammation, cancers, chronic health conditions, and even like aging has to do with that. So we're going to learn all about that a little bit later on the Shannon Joy Show. And yes, I also, listen, I'm not ready to go here yet. We're going to go here at some point, mainly just because it's a massive distraction. But we are going to go into all of the weird things regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination and the behavior of his widow, the unbelievable amount, the hundreds of millions of dollars that are pouring in donations to Turning Point USA, how it's been monetized. We're seeing all over social media, people are getting 5, 10, 15 emails, messages for money and fundraising. A lot of them are coming from Erica Kirk, the widow herself. I mean, it's unbelievable, but there are so many bizarre aspects to this. Again, I'm going to go with nothing that the government tells me, nothing that comes out as the official story from Kash Patel, the FBI, CIA, Donald Trump, this administration, the Biden administration, Biden's FBI, Biden's CIA. I don't care whether you're left or right. I don't believe you. You lie over and over and over. Nothing that comes out of these entities, in my opinion, are believable. And a lot of it is just outrageously insane. You saw the dramatic reading that we did last week when the FBI released the lover's letter from the assassin, between the assassin and his LGBTQ roomie, right? It's absurd. It's absurd. You saw, the anti-ICE inscribed on the casing of yesterday's violent shooting in Texas. I mean, so much of this is absolutely unbelievable. Primarily the breaking down of the crime scene. And that is what Michael Yon is also stated, like, we don't need to go deep into the rabbit hole on this thing. Just the fact that they never secured the crime scene. There was a dangling police tape, like dangling in the wind, right? Like no one secured the crime scene. They broke it down. It's like TPUSA janitors came over and swept up and broke down the tent. They never investigated the crime scene, and then they cemented over it. And we're supposed to believe this? Like, this just defies common sense. It is like them telling us to look up into the sky and tell them that it's green, or look down onto the grass and tell them that it's blue. It's absurd. It's absolute absurdity. And I'm not making any statements about what happened. I don't know what the hell happened. All right. But I know enough to know that they lie about everything. In fact, that's politics 101. Okay. Everything they say is a lie, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. Once they get to Washington, D.C., from the office of the presidency or any of these agencies, they just lie and lie and lie. We are on our own. Every man for himself. Get going bottom up, because there is nothing good coming from this administration or the administration previous. I will apply all of my critique today of the Trump administration and the Republican Party to the Biden administration and the Democrat Party in the 4 years preceding. Okay, we will be very fair about how much we distrust these entities. Okay, so we're going to go there next week. We're not going to go too deeply, but to me, I agree with Michael Yon that the breakdown of the tent and the washing of the crime scene without ever securing it. I haven't seen one video or one image of a secure crime scene at all. They don't exist, which is crazy. It's crazy. So, yes. And yes, I posted this. The Nicolas Cage movie, Snake Eyes, very strange. I'm not going to go into it. Go to the Twitter and look it up. It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. And the deep dives on and the widow. There are some questions about the widow. Again, I'm not going there. This is a no-win situation right now. But at some point, there will be a discussion about this. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy stuff. So we're going to go into that. Okay. So Ellie Hirsch coming up in just a little bit. Great headline, though. Congratulations to Tom Massie. According to The Hill, Tom Massie has pushed Ro Khanna. There are, as I mentioned, like maybe 1% of the people in Washington, D.C. are honorable and ethical and are telling the truth. I think Tom Massie is one of those people. He joined with Ro Khanna to push forth this discharge petition. The Republicans have fought him kicking and screaming. Trump has threatened members who have signed the discharge petition. Republicans have been threatened by Mike Johnson if they get anywhere near this. And it's been absolutely outrageous. The Hill reporting that the milestone is highly unusual. Only a handful of discharge petitions have ever been successful in this century. And that proves that the American people, remember what Derek Bros said yesterday. No, it wasn't Derek Bros. It was Nick Bryant on Monday. Remember what he said? The Epstein issue is so important because it is the one issue that can unite the left and the right. Regular Americans, the citizens of the United States of America, are united. We know that they're lying to us. And this is why we have to continue to push. This is one of only a handful of discharge petitions that have been successful this century. And it would mark a coup, says The Hill, for its lead sponsor, GOP Representative Tom Massie, a frequent Trump critic who has accused those in his own party of protecting pedophiles to prevent embarrassing revelations or criminal revelations about wealthy Republican donors and even the President of the United States of America. There was a big fundraiser for Tom Massie in Kentucky with Rand Paul yesterday. Glad to see that it was packed. It was packed. People are supporting him. And so this is great news. I see Nautical, the Snake Eyes movie, could be evidence of the simulation theory. The Snake Eyes movie, go look it up for yourself. All right, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there because I don't need, listen, it's like whack-a-mole with me. I pop my head up and like tell the truth about Trump or whatever, and everyone hammers me. I just, not going to do it. So yes, just got to be vigilant, absolutely vigilant. So let's go to some of the videos that I mentioned. Let's start with the Uni-party, okay? This has been the most difficult in my career, the most difficult mass formation to rip people out of so that they can see clearly is the two-party political paradigm, D versus R. People will acknowledge it. They'll say, yeah, we know there's only one party in Washington, D.C. Yeah, we know there's a Uni-party, but not Trump, right? So everyone on the right who was talking about the Uni-party for the past 2-3 years, right? The Uni-party apparently doesn't exist anymore because Trump is in office. He's exempt from the Uni-party analysis. Like, there's always a caveat. There's always an exception. Well, not this administration. Well, we're going to give them time, or they'll do the lesser of two evils, right? Well, we know that the two parties work together and that there really aren't two parties, that it's a Uni-party, but one of the parties is more evil than the other party. And so because we only have two choices, right? The false choice paradigm, which is also a psyop in my opinion, because we only have two parties to choose from, well, then we must choose from the lesser of two evils. Now, this is a lie. This is a lie that has been perpetrated by the Uni-party for the past 50, 60 years. And what it leads to, when you vote for the lesser of two evils over and over and over for a long enough period of time, you end up with just plain evil. And that's what we have today. And that's why we can't have nice things here in the United States of America, because we have engaged in this madness, in these false elections and false choices for far too long. And now Washington, D.C. is just riddled with absolutely debaucherous, narcissistic, malignant sociopaths. That's what you get when you choose the lesser of two evils over and over and over. What we should be doing is advocating and organizing from the bottom up. But this video puts it in such clear perspective. And I've been wanting to play this video all week, and I haven't had a chance to do it. But let's run this now. This is the Uni-party exposed, and her name is Carrie_Wedler. That's her Twitter handle. She only has about 30,000 Twitter followers, but she's excellent. She does excellent videos, and she's a must follow. So let's take a look at her riff on the Uni-party. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Take a look. Just waiting for the Uni-party exposed. I see you, Bill Benz and Rusterly. Great to see you guys on the live chat. We're just waiting for that video to be pulled up. Sleeping Giant 111. Great to see you on the live chat. I have not seen you yet. Rusterly, you are a brand new chatter on the Rumble live chat. Again, thank you to our sponsors over at Rumble. Thank you to our sponsors, Colonial Metals Group, the Satellite Phone Store, PCM and Associates. You're going to be hearing from all of them. Zen Woman is with us on the live chat as well. LT Oracle of Truth, they are laughing at us. CJP Rumble, I just pulled up Snake Eyes. I heard it was a great movie. I'm a big fan of Nicolas Cage. He's always been one of my favorite actors, but it's insane. It's insane. Hey, Strident Conservative, great to see you. Grip RJW, I'm a newbie. Hey, Grip, it's great to see you on the live chat. I love all of these new faces. All right, so TJ, do we have our video ready for the Uni-party exposed? Are we ready? Have I stalled long enough with the live chat? Are we going to run it? We're going to do something? CJP Rumble, hello, new peeps. All right, let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can figure out where that video is, because I really do want to play it for you guys, especially before we bring in our guest. Maybe we can go to break. Okay. The Family Man is a great Nick Cage movie. I agree with you, Bro Walker is one of my favorites as well. Oh, Sleeping Giant 111. We got raided today. Who raided us today? Okay, so this is fun. On Rumble, every so often, someone with a much bigger reach than little old me right here on the Shannon Joy Show will raid my stream on Rumble after they're done with their stream. And what they do is they basically share their whole audience with the audience here at the Shannon Joy Show. And that is absolutely amazing. So, Mary New, thank you. Great to see you. And that's why we have all of these new viewers. Sleeping Giant 111, Shannon Joy's show is new to me. Oh, I appreciate that so much. Well, if you guys can let me know who rated us and gave us all of these lovely, amazing new chatters and viewers, I want to say thank you to them. Why don't we go to a quick break? Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we will continue with the show. We're going to have to wait, I think, on the video. You're just going to have to, you like that tease? We're going to have to wait till the end of the show. We're going to try to get in Ellie Hirsch. She is a certified nutritionist and wellness coach. So we're going to hit a commercial break. We're going to get everything set up for all of you. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Shannon Joy Show. All of the Native Path products are simply amazing. In the Joy household, we use the Hydrate. We use the Native Path Complete Protein. We use, obviously, the Native Path Collagen, which is right now on sale 45% off if you go to getnativepathcollagen.com/joy. And that's a limited time, but it is the cleanest, the best, the highest quality collagen on the market at the absolute lowest price point. This is why I love their products. In fact, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy the other night, he uses everything, but every so often, if he plays volleyball, he will cramp up, or if he's doing some type of strenuous activity, he'll get these cramps. It's not very often, but middle of the night last week, I'm like in the bed next to him. All of a sudden, he's like, oh my gosh, like screaming, yelling, like stiff as his board. His feet are out like completely straight. And apparently both of his legs cramped up. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like trying to like get him up and turn him around in the bed because he can't like bend his legs. And he goes to me and goes, get me the Native Path Hydrate now. Get me the Native Path Hydrate, because it has the electrolytes in it. And so like I'm running downstairs and I'm mixing it up and I bring it up to him and it took care of it. But like, that's how dependent the whole family is. My son has an entire box full of all of the stuff he's bringing back to college, and he wants to get his volleyball team on it because they're just great products. They deliver, they're clean, and the price points are absolutely perfect. So we love the team over at Native Path. Please go to their website, getnativepathcollagen.com right now. We know what collagen does for your hair, your nails, your skin, your joints. It addresses joint pain. And we know that as we age, we lose a lot of the production of collagen in our body. So this is why I use Native Path Collagen every single day in my coffee. Doesn't help with cramping, but they have the Hydrate for that. Getnativepathcollagen.com/joy. We also love our partnership with our friends over at the Satellite Phone Store. In an emergency, whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's a government-inflicted pseudo-emergency, whatever it is, the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be, and the better you're going to be able to make decisions for your family that will help you in the long term. And so Satellite Phone Store has been our one-stop shop at the Shannon Joy household for everything that we need to be prepared. Whether it is a solar panel or a generator, they have all sizes of generators that you can use in short term, long term, whether it's the Faraday collection, right? Protecting your devices from EMP, EMF, and also protecting your bodies from EMF radiation, 5G, 4G, 3G, you name it, all the Gs. They have the most extensive line of Faraday products, I think, on the market. And they are the highest quality Faraday you can get. From the blankets, the beanies, and the bags. They are always 10% off when you use the promo code JOY. So go to sat123.com/joy. That's sat123.com/joy. Always use that JOY promo code. It always works. And of course, they have the satellite phones. The best way for you to keep in touch with your loved ones when the lights go out. And as we have seen in recent news headlines, the lights are going out more and more. And as they are taxing our grid with this building of the techno digital gulag, they are using up more and more energy sources. And so many outlets are, I mean, you are seeing one story after another of predicted rolling brownouts, blackouts. This is coming. This is going to be a reality in the next 24 months because of the expansion of the technocracy and the data centers. And so this is when, I mean, we need to be prepared. That's why you need the satellite phones and all of these preparation materials. So sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. Let's bring our good everyone to the Shannon Joy Show, and huge thank you to Big Mig. Appreciate you, Big Mig. Apparently, you're the guy who rated the Shannon Joy Show today, which is super fun. And now we have all these amazing new chatters and viewers. I so appreciate you. And we're just going to have to go and raid Big Mig at some time as well. So you guys all look great. Clones is with us on the live chat. Sleeping Giant 111 is with us. We also have Nautical, Green Tea 369. Future Ez says, we need to see a picture of this devastatingly handsome guy. Devastatingly handsome, Dr. Joy, my husband. And yes, indeed, he is devastatingly handsome. And I'll get a picture for you at some point. People have met him before. He comes to some of my events. So we'll absolutely do that. But we have a great, I'm sorry, we are going to have time for the amazing video on the Uni-party. The Uni-party Exposed by Carrie Wedler. We'll play that at the end of the show today. But we do have our special guest, and I'm really, really thrilled to welcome into the Joy Virtual Studio Ellie Hirsch. She is a certified nutritionist and wellness coach. We're going to be talking about gut health, the gut biome, the great poisoning, Catherine Austin Fitts, in our air, in our water, in the land, in the soil, chemicals, toxins. But we all know the greatest poisoning happened at the tip of a needle. They tell us it is not the vaccines, but we know that the rollout of COVID shots has set in motion a terrible, terrible health epidemic in the United States of America, and we still can't quite get to the truth of it. Well, Ellie Hirsch saw through all of that. I love her story. She's a mamapreneur. She has 3 boys. As I mentioned, she's a certified nutritionist and a wellness coach, and we're going to talk about staying healthy in this cesspool that we live in today in the United States of America, in context of the news of the day. So Ellie, welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. I'm really glad that you're here with us. And the gut thing is something that I've been afraid to tackle because it just seems like huge, like this. There are just so many elements to it, and it's not anything I've really talked about. So I'm glad that you're here with us as one of us to talk about that and other health issues. Welcome to the show for the first time. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I love that you're a mom. You have 3 kids. I have 3 kids. I think they're right around the same age. I have a 13, a 16, and a 13 to 17 and a 21-year-old. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty close. I have a 13, almost 17, and a 19-year-old. So
okay, look at that. I'm so pumped. No, wait. No, I do have a 19. Oh my gosh, I forgot my oldest's age. He's 19. See? It's the mom brain. And my gut. It's my gut.
It's a brain fog,
right? Well, tell us a little bit. This is the first time that you're with our audience. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We're going to talk about Trump. Big news this past week. We saw the press conference. The Tylenol wars are ramping up now. Trump says that, all of our problems are Tylenol. That's the smoking gun for autism. Everyone knows that's not the case. It has to do with the jabs. But yeah, give us a little bit of your background and then your thoughts on that. And we'll get into what's really impacting people's health right now and move from there.
Sure. I'm a certified nutritionist and wellness coach, a health and wellness guru. I love fitness. I fell in love with strengthening my body years ago in my 20s, so a very long time ago. I'm a huge Pilates fan. I love to lengthen and strengthen my body. It helps my mind focus. And I love to feel great inside and out and share that with other people and help them feel the exact same.
I love that. I love it so much. What did you make of, and I agree, I think that one of my missions and with this audience is to keep as many of us out of the medical industrial complex as humanly possible, and to do that in as natural a way as possible. So sleep, sun, exercise, grounding, supplements, anything that we can do to keep away from pharmaceuticals, not just frankly jabs and shots and the childhood vaccine schedule, but frankly all pharmaceuticals. I really don't want to put any of the substances in my body. I'd like to maintain the natural homeostasis. And that's one area that I've been very consistent on, this show with the audience, and I love bringing them people who can speak to that. So let's talk about this. I mean, President Trump is talking about Tylenol. They're saying that it's causing autism. We know that the overuse of pharmaceuticals, especially vaccines, is doing more harm than good when it comes to our health. So let's start there about just the state of the health of the nation today, and then we can move out from that and on what people can do to take better care of their health.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, agree or disagree with President Trump on the whole Tylenol issue. That's what we do know, to agree with you. The overuse of pharmaceuticals, especially vaccines, it's just not good for our bodies, okay? And there's definitely evidence showing that there's a misuse, overuse, and inappropriate use of all of these. And, widespread overprescribing, it's antibiotic resistance. It's now actually considered one of the world's top health threats, interestingly enough. That kind of brings me into the global life expectancy, right? It declines for the first time in 30 years. And if you go back to 2014, life expectancy peaked at 78.8 years. Then throughout the next several years, it kind of fell modestly and then took a nosedive. It tumbled downward in 2020 and 2021. And, like you said previously in your show, they want to make COVID the reason for this lower life expectancy. But clearly, the decline happened way before COVID in 2014. So it just doesn't make sense. And the deepest decline since 2020 didn't happen when the pandemic started, but rather since the vaccine was introduced. And COVID isn't even one of the top 10 causes of death anymore. In fact, more people are dying from suicide. And also, if it was COVID, then we would expect the life expectancy to bounce back, and it has not. And when we look at all the complications and all the premature deaths that have resulted since the COVID vaccine was widely administered, seems like the likely culprit. So
what's frustrating to so many people is that once again, 3, 4, 5 months ago, we were talking about red dye number 27 and banning Kellogg's cereal and all of those things. And now we're moving on to Tylenol, and we're going to have the debates on that. As I mentioned, liberal pregnant women across the country are downing bottles of Tylenol to prove that it's safe, which is just insane. Okay. And we just can't have these conversations about vaccines, which is really frustrating. That was my primary critique of that press conference, is that while some of the things that they said are true or kind of true, once again, we're missing the elephant in the room. We're missing the smoking gun, and we're distracting away from the true culprits. Now, because of that, they are talking about bringing in new universal cancer vaccines. So we now have 500 mRNA new platforms on the market, like in the hopper, ready for FDA approval. We have SA mRNA, which is self-amplifying mRNA. And as Jay Bhattacharya wrote in just a recent op-ed, that they are going to cure cancer with a new universal vaccine to replace all the old vaccines. So even if we decide all the old vaccines are toxic, and that the benefits do not outweigh the negatives, it doesn't even matter. They're going to roll out these new mRNA technologies, and we're just going to go down this rabbit hole again. So, and they're going to want everyone to take it as well.
Oh,
So, I mean, what are your, so that's the thing, like, what are your thoughts? I mean, this is why, like, when I say exit the system, like exit and build, exit the system, parallel systems, stay out of the medical industrial complex. Like, this is why your gut health, your metabolic health, like all those things are important, because once you get into that system, man, they've got you. They have you on a cocktail of prescriptions. They're jabbing you up with all kinds of things. They're, pushing surgeries that might be unnecessary. And I just see people go, they tumble into the rabbit hole and it's like they can't get out. I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit on a bit of a rant here, but it's why I want to like all of those natural things are so important. Your thoughts on that?
yeah. I mean, I can understand why you're so passionate about it. So basically, it's just like the COVID vaccine, but for cancers, because the universal mRNA vaccine is waking up the human immune system against cancer. And they're saying it's an alternative to surgery, radiation, or chemotherapy. And they've had success in mice, right? They were able to boost the immune system's response to tumors, and therefore it slowed or shrank several types of cancers. And human trials are about to start, but what works in mice doesn't work in people. And like you said, they're going to try to get everybody to take this, but what we have to realize is no matter how hard they try, health is not found in a vaccine, right? So natural immunity, it's superior to synthetic immunity. And, you've been talking about the gut. So most of our immune system, 70 to 80% of our immunity is found in our gut, right? And another thing that starts in the gut is how quickly we age. And it all has to do with cellular metabolism. Aging starts at a cellular level, right? We have natural cell metabolism. It's just part of life. Our cells are naturally going to change over time, but things can speed them up, right? Like inflammation, oxidative stress. And that's basically when your body builds up too much cellular rust. We know EMF exposure triggers oxidative stress, right? And when our cells age, our tissues age, and our tissues, they make up everything in our body, inside and out. It kind of tells us what's healthy and what's unhealthy. And that's why cellular health is directly tied to overall health. And people are aging faster than ever. And it's all those toxins, the chemicals in our soil and food, the microplastics, and other external factors like vaccines. But what people don't realize is that we can actually fight against aging on a cellular level. So it's all very exciting. I find it exciting. So yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people find it exciting because it is empowering. It is absolutely, it's a wonderful sense of freedom and emancipation when you don't have to rely on the pharmaceutical industries. You don't have to rely on your medical doctor who has been trained up by the pharmaceutical industries. You don't have to rely on the medical industrial complex to be healthy. We've mentioned, I've had other experts. We've talked about the sun. We've talked about sleep. We've talked about grounding. We haven't really gone into the gut biome and good and bad bacteria and that cellular level that you just talked about. So if you can maybe do a 101 for me, like, and explain, because again, this is one of those issues that has been a bit intimidating for me because, number one, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. I'm actually very bad at all those things, bad at math, like just not my genre. But if you can maybe give us a basic kind of understanding of our gut and why that's so important, what happens in our gut and how that impacts, every area of our body and from our brain to our lungs to our liver, all the things.
Absolutely. So I want to start off talking about this anti-aging study that was so powerful, and it involves kimchi. Okay, the fermented food, and in this study, it was introduced to human cells in a test tube via in vitro, and the study showed it slowed down the aging of cells, which is so amazing and so great because when you slow aging on a cellular level, right, you slow the aging of your tissues, combination of your cells, which ultimately slows down the aging of your entire body. So to simplify it for you, if you take care of your cells, your tissues will stay young, right? Your body stays younger. And to me, that is just so amazing. And kimchi doesn't just slow down the aging of our cells. It's one of the best things we can do for our gut microbiome. And our microbiome is really a mini ecosystem that keeps the body balanced. And
Okay.
there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria, right? So good bacteria, it helps your body absorb nutrients and digest foods and make vitamins, excuse me, and boost immunity and protect your gut. Now, bad bacteria, on the other hand, toxins, triggers inflammation. It contributes to issues like bloating and infections and chronic diseases. But when you eat fermented foods, especially kimchi, it's like sending the special forces, into the gut. Kimchi feeds the good bacteria, crowds out the bad bacteria, and it keeps your gut healthy. And kimchi is so superior. It's really the king of fermented foods. It contains over 900 unique probiotics not found in other foods. And that's what's really exciting about it, because it has so many benefits. And health depends on the balance of your body. When that good bacteria outnumber and regulate the bad, the gut environment stays stable. It supports your overall, well-being. But if diet and stress and antibiotics and other things like that and illness disrupt that balance, then bacteria overgrows, you get gut problems, health issues, and all that other good stuff.
Okay. And like the bloating and that's, especially at my age, yes, a bit, as we age, right, you have the menopause creeping in or perimenopause creeping in, and it's hard to keep weight off. It's harder like I have my pants, they're the pants that dictate whether or not, things are happening. And I'm just like, I'm noticing like just air, like where like the bloating kind of hangs over one side or the other. I'm like, I've never had that before. I'm not changing anything. I'm not eating more or exercising less or doing anything like that. It's just kind of happening.
Yeah.
And so, that was one of the things I'm using kimchi right now. What is kimchi, by the way?
It's a fermented food. It's a staple in the Korean diet, right? They eat it like 3 times a day, every day. That's why the Korean population lives 6 years longer than Americans. And if you're into skincare, you've heard of the Korean glass skin. And when you look at their skin, it radiates health from the inside and is reflected on the outside. And it's pretty amazing what kimchi does. And, I'll talk about weight loss in a minute, because that is just one benefit. And I agree with you, by the way, there's nothing worse than, getting your skin stuck in your zipper. You're like, I need to go up a size in my closet.
No.
That happened to me yesterday. TMI, but I will tell you, I can absolutely relate to that. So,
right.
It's
I go back and forth. Like sometimes you want a little extra. Like I'm okay with gaining a little bit of weight, because as you get older, it's nice to have a little plumpness, if you know what I mean.
Right. In your face.
Right?
The more weight you lose.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to look like scrawny, right? But there's a balance there. And, so a little bit is okay, but I'm noticing it. I'm, no one's immune.
We all are. We all are. And, the other thing is that when we get older, we're more susceptible to getting viruses. You get sick more often, right? And so you'll notice like funguses, like candida, right? So we all ladies, we all had yeast infections. They are the worst, right? Or let's say you've had itchy eyes and you can't figure out what's causing it. And it's not allergies, it's probably a bacteria or fungus. We've all heard of athlete's foot and ringworm. So there's also parasites, as gross as it is, infested us, and they cause symptoms that we aren't aware of. Why, right? The tapeworm, the pinworm, the giardia. And kimchi has shown time and time again this power to battle all these little evil microbials naturally and effectively, because your level of health on the inside reflects on the outside. Just like I was mentioning the Korean glass skin, you can just tell like something is coming from the inside that is just radiating health. And so the gut, everything's related, like you said. So I want to talk a second about the gut skin axis. So what you put in your body, what you consume, plays a bigger role than any type of treatments that you can use topically, creams, things like that. So your microbiome, it's not just inside your gut, it's everywhere, including your skin, which, by the way, is the largest organ in the human body. Not a lot of people know that. It's a fun fact. The balance of that good and bad bacteria we were talking about, it determines the quality of the skin and how quickly your skin is aging. And when people think about their health, it's like, oh, I'm so healthy on the inside. But as a wellness coach, and I said this a couple times already, I like to focus on how your internal health is reflected on the outside.
Right.
I'm proud to say I'm about to turn 50, and I believe
Girl.
I believe that,
Yeah.
how I look, how I feel is a reflection of how I've taken care of myself. I talked about Pilates. I like to feel good. I don't want to feel bloated and all those other things. And I also, speaking of kids, like I want to pass down those traditions to them about how important it is to be healthy and take care of yourself from the inside out. And also we talk a lot about skincare and women, but obviously men, we can't forget about the men. They should also care about their skin health. But what's really interesting, and this is so exciting as well, is that the hair growth. I mean, there's been studies. There was one study done in
Okay.
2020. Yeah, it involved both men and women with androgenic alopecia, which is the most common reason for hair loss. So they consumed kimchi for 4 months, and it measured how many hairs are on your head, the hair count, and also the hair shaft
Wow.
thickness, how big the hair is. Yeah. So some participants actually saw positive results in 1 month. But after 4 months, 91% of women saw an increase in the hair count, in the hair thickness, or both. Men saw 96%. Okay. So that's pretty cool because, as we know, yes, premenopause, menopause, your hair gets thinner, you're getting older. It's just a part of life. So if we can naturally, right, help those things and help us fix those things, I mean, you're going to be better off for it. And so you take it internally, right, and you eat kimchi, and so on the outside your hair shows it. And you talked about weight, right, and bloating. So kimchi helps people maintain a healthy weight, lower body fat. And the reason why is because kimchi contains probiotics, right? And a gut bacterium leak to better metabolism. Okay, so that reduces your belly fat and takes care of weight management. And it also helps balance things, keeping your gut healthy, which supports calorie use and efficient digestion. And actually, skinny people have these probiotics already in their intestines, interestingly enough. And obese people don't. So that's why when you eat kimchi and you're overweight, you will naturally lose weight. Obviously, if you're already skinny, you're not going to lose more weight, right? But pretty cool stuff. And so when you feed your gut with kimchi, you boost the good bacteria, and then your metabolism naturally melts that belly fat. And we talk about bloating, but like you said, it doesn't always mean you're heavy or you're overweight, right? So it plays a huge role in your waistline. It's uncomfortable. Like I said, catching your skin in a zipper is like a telltale sign it's time to take kimchi. So, kimchi definitely, it hurts. I have a little boo-boo to show. Right. So it's been shown to significantly reduce that bloating because you have better digestion, better regularity. So it's all extremely exciting, the benefits of kimchi. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
No, I love that. And I actually have been taking kimchi for the past few weeks. And I don't know if it's just in my head, maybe it's a placebo. But my stomach feels like flatter. Like it reminds me of the stomach. Like I'm almost 50 myself. It reminds me of my stomach in my like late 30s, early 40s, where I don't know, it just is different. And so now my husband, it's good. It's good for me. Like when there is a kimchi. So Brightcore has a kimchi one product. That's what I'm taking right now. And I'm glad for it because, and you can tell it's like fermented, like it has an odor to it, and not a bad odor, but like my husband, for example, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy, he just has such great health habits. And so the man, I mean, he eats fermented. He makes our refrigerator is like a chemistry biology project because he ferments. And he makes something called, like he takes it to school every day. He's a school psychologist. He calls it pico de slayo, but it's like a fermented kind of slaw and he's very proud of it. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Me on the other hand, I have like a palate of a 10-year-old. So I'll eat bologna and like cheese and hot dogs and mac and cheese. It's really bad. So, but he loves it, but he swears by fermented foods and he looks great. I mean, he really does for his age. He is devastatingly handsome. But for me, and it's why I take the Field of Greens. It's why, as you guys know, like I just have terrible eating habits. I don't like fermented food. I don't like the taste of it. And so this has actually been a real godsend for me. It's the Kimchi one from Brightcore. And, it's a sponsored interview, but we've learned so much from it. I would love to hear, you guys are giving a great deal today for Kimchi, but can you just tell us about Kimchi one and how it works? And because I'm loving it, all natural. I like the all natural things, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's huge to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, all natural, non-GMO, 100% made in the USA. And it's the convenience of a capsule, right? You mentioned you don't like fermented foods. A lot of Americans don't like fermented foods. So we've, taken all the goodness, put it in a convenient capsule without the taste and the odor and the mess. And it's important to take daily. Daily consumption is the key here, right? And you're not going to eat kimchi all day. There's virtually no sodium, unlike store-bought kimchi. And it's interesting because the people that I've coached and I've recommended Kimchi one to have all said the same things. So these are so great. I love when I hear stories from clients about this. It's the glowing skin, but it's when somebody comes up to you and says, have you done something different? Or what have you done with your face? And, when you look in the mirror and you see, oh, I see a difference. It's great. But when someone else recognizes it, you're like, wow, this really works. And so that's exciting. Yeah. And also we talked about the hair. It's growing back. It's thicker. It's shinier. The weight loss, right? Nobody could lose the weight before, but now it's gone. The bloating is gone. The constipation is gone. The energy levels are higher, and it's the best they've ever felt. Right. So yeah, we're so excited about this. We want everyone to be able to feel their best and take in the benefits of kimchi. So today you can get 25% off your order of Kimchi one using code JOY at mybrightcore.com/joy. That's mybrightcore.com. Or if you call us at 888-912-4317, you can get up to 50% off your order and free shipping. And that's the first 100 callers, you're going to receive a free bottle of vitamin D3. And that number again is 888-912-4317. And the reason why we like when people call in, obviously, the higher percentage off is great, but we really like to talk to our customers, understand their health journey, take it with them, answer questions, because everybody has questions. And, our health experts are waiting by the phone, and we really develop relationships with our customers, and we absolutely love that. And we want to make sure it's the right product for you. So again, I would call in for 888-912-4317.
Well, I noticed that when I was preparing today, and it's one of the reasons I love Brightcore. And by the way, guys, again, this is sponsored by Brightcore, and we have a new relationship with them. And I'm really thrilled to be working with you guys. I've been trying a lot of your products in addition to the kimchi, and I really, really like them. And what I love even more, I love a phone number. Like, I love a human talking to a human, getting on the phone. I was just talking to Naomi Wolf the other day. We were planning to do something and I had to decline. And so I called her to tell her that I was going to decline. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love that you called me to tell me that, and I just feel like there's so little human interaction. So I love the idea of the 800 number. And I think they're going to be running this for a little while again. So the 800 number is right there. And then I'll be talking about this for the next few weeks, guys. I don't know, TJ, if you saw, I actually have a picture of my husband's concoction, his fermented concoction that he takes to school every day. Do you have that, TJ? It's insane. I'm like, you sit with people at lunch? Like, does anyone sit with you? It smells so bad. I'm like, what? But if you have any, it's so good for him. But I could never bring myself. TJ, I sent you in our Signal chat a picture of my husband's Pico de Slayo fermented concoction. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you guys want to see it, so if he can find it, he can pull it up. But I really appreciate you, Ellie. I hope that maybe you can come on again.
I would love to
do more with the gut, more, because there's so much out there, and I love simple solutions. The fermentation thing makes so much sense to me, and as I mentioned, I'm already seeing a difference in my belly, particularly, which was changing. I'm almost through menopause. Crazy enough, I'm almost through it. It was touch and go there in the early months, and so I'm almost through it. And but the belly thing was one of the biggest things that I noticed. So yeah, oh, there it is. That's it.
Oh my God.
That
That
he
looks
that
delicious. That
you
really does
know,
look delicious.
I give him a lot of credit. I mean, he has great eating habits, great exercise habits. He's the complete opposite of me. 100%. Yeah. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So thank you, Deb. Thank you, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy. I'll have a little fun at your expense today. Okay, you can pull that off, TJ. I appreciate you so much for finding that. But she is Ellie Hirsch. I hope to have her back on again on the Shannon Joy Show. And again, guys, this is mybrightcore.com/joy. And we'll be hearing about this again. I'll be talking about this for the next couple of weeks. But mybrightcore.com/joy. Use the code JOY at checkout. You'll get 25% off. But if you call the 800 number, you can get up to 50% off the order, plus free shipping. Plus, they are giving away free bottles of D3 to the first 100 callers. So I love that you're encouraging the calling, Ellie. That just makes my heart sing. And I really appreciate you and all of the great information that you gave us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. And we'll have you back again for sure. All right.
Cool.
All right. Okay, guys, we are going to go to a quick break. Amazing stuff from Ellie. I really appreciate everything that she brought to the table today in terms of gut health. I have a lot of learning to do, but I know I have to take care of my gut. And so this is kind of my first step into that. And it's already giving me pretty great results. So when we come back, we're going to look at some videos. I know I promised you the truth about the Uni-party video. We couldn't quite get to it at the beginning of the show, but we are going to take a look at the live chat. I want to talk to all of you. I see a ton of new faces. You Cool Too is with us, and Grip RJW. Shannon, can you make me a moderator? Wow, Grip, I just met you. This is the first time you've been on the live chat. You already want to be a moderator? I don't think I have any moderators on the chat, but maybe we can do that. Future as Ellie was great. I thought she was great too. I really like her. She reminds me. Can you believe we have kids the exact same age? So 13, 17, and 19. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Sleeping Giant 111, great to see you as well. So yeah, let's go to a quick break, one commercial. And then when we come back, we'll get into the videos, because there are two that I wanted to get to. But this one, blasting the Uni-party, as I mentioned, this idea that there are two separate and distinct political parties in the United States of America is a complete fallacy. And I feel like it's the single greatest impediment for people to wake up and realize all of the nasty things that they're doing to us in Washington, D.C. Because anytime our guy is in political office, half of the country goes to sleep because they think that they're safe, right? And the other half of the country, is all up in arms and worried about things, but they trade power back and forth, but the trajectory is always the same. Bigger government, more money printing, more corruption, more shady deals, a obliteration of our God-given natural rights, the tearing apart of our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, and it's just Groundhog Day political hell. We've been doing this over and over and over for, it seems like 5 or 6 decades. And I'm just waiting for everyone to freaking wake up and realize that it's all a joke, and that so many of the things that they inflict upon us are psyops in different, in different levels. But the biggest psyop, I think, is this false two-party paradigm. And so this video really spoke to me earlier this week. And it's from Carrie_Weldler on Twitter. She does great videos. I suggest you all follow her. And I'm going to play it for you when we come back. I'm also going to play an AI tech bubble video as well, which I'll send to TJ so that he has it. Because the NVIDIA scam, like this whole scam that everything's going to be digital and the robots are coming, like, yes, there's some good technology out there, but I don't think it's nearly as good as they're pitching it. In fact, I think that we're looking at quite an extensive and large bubble in the tech sector. Again, all of the gains in Washington, or all of the gains in Wall Street in the stock market, are from 7 tech companies. And they're all kind of just like feeding this narrative and feeding money to each other, but there's not really anything happening. So we're going to talk about that when we come back as well. Quick commercial break. Keep it tuned right here. Get your questions and your comments ready. And we will continue this discussion right here on the Shannon Joy Show. I am absolutely blessed to be sponsored by this amazing product. This is a miracle. It is the Relief Band. I don't know if you guys have heard me talking about Relief Band. I have it here. I brought it with me. I don't know if you can see it. This is nothing short of a miracle. I have told you all about my daughter, Mimi, and her chronic car sickness since she was a tiny little baby. My poor darling Mimi, every time she got into the car, if she was in for more than 15 or 20 minutes, would get so sick. I think she probably threw up in my car over 200 times from the time she was a year old till she was 4 years old, until she got a little bit older. But even persisting into her teens, every time she gets into the car, if it's too long of an extended period of time, she gets so sick, nauseated, feels like she's going to throw up. And it's been constant. Well, we recently found Relief Band. They're sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. And I used this with Mimi for our trip to New York City. And it was nothing short of a miracle for nausea, migraines, headaches, morning sickness. If you have a loved one who is pregnant and just suffering with morning sickness, people who are struggling with illness and nausea from chemotherapy, this absolutely tackles it. It's an amazing, patented, clinically proven, FDA cleared technology. And basically how it works, I won't go into it in detail, but this is the Relief Band. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just this little guy. And what you do is you take the gel, you put this gel right on your wrist. You put the Relief Band on your wrist, right? And it sends this little pulse, like this little shock, right, into your wrist. And it essentially, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's magic. We'll get into the science of it in another read. But basically, it sends a signal to your brain. Then it signals to the stomach to reduce nausea and provides immediate relief. It is an amazing, I did not think that this was going to work. They sent it to us. I'm like, there's no way that this thing is going to work. It was a miracle. 6 hours that Mimi spent in the car on our trip without even a smidgen of nausea or headache. It was an absolute miracle. And right now, the Relief Band is 20% off for the Joy audience. So if you are interested, reliefband.com, that's reliefband.com, 20% off with the JOY promo code, and they're going to send you free shipping as well. This is an amazing device. I cannot recommend it enough, especially for people who have dealt with chronic nausea and headaches. Thank you to our friends over at Relief Band. Again, the website, reliefband.com. That's reliefband.com. Promo code JOY for 20% off. Segment of the Shannon Joy Show. Zen woman, only one ad, but so very, very long. Listen, all of you. The advertisers on the Shannon Joy Show make the world go round. We could not bring this show to you if it weren't for our advertisers. And yes, sometimes we do have more advertisers than fewer advertisers, but it's a necessary and I actually think, I do need to pay the bills, Mod Trend. And what did Rush Limbaugh used to call it? An obscene commercial break, or obscenely lucrative commercial break. Not obscenely lucrative, but there's also, guys, a lot of overhead here. We have the full studio, we have the office, we have full production. It all adds up. Yes, we are all dead. You want the watch. It's the Relief Band. Obscene profit breaks. So maybe no, but listen, I like to keep it. I want to get this gut thing going. I want to get the gut health thing settled. And you guys know I have health people on the show all the time, and I'm really into kimchi. So just deal with it. All right. Yes, obscene profit break is hilarious, and I do love the Relief Band. So this is my rule. I do 90 minutes of content per show. Sometimes 100 minutes if I go and 10 minutes over. So in 90 minutes of content, I like to limit my commercial breaks to about, I would say, 12 minutes. And I think that's fair. So when you count the live reads and then the commercial breaks, and then I guess if you're on Rumble, they'll drop things in occasionally. And it's much better than talk radio. Talk radio, I started on talk radio. And in 1 hour, there are literally, I want to say 18 to 22 minutes, 18 to 22 full minutes of commercial breaks and promos and advertisements. So I think this show is much cleaner and less cluttered in terms of commercials than most other shows. But as you know, we got to keep the lights on here. And I mean, if you guys don't want advertisements, you can all send me money. If you want to, you guys can support the Shannon Joy Show with your donations at www.theshannonjoy.com. And if enough of you support us on a monthly basis, then, we don't have to run advertisements. But it's a balance. It's a balance. And I do want to go, though, to this. Like, again, we were talking about the Uni-party before we went to break, and I got distracted. By the way, you guys are great. I love it when you razz me on the live chat. No problem whatsoever. But I do want to run this video that I posted earlier this week in the Uni-party Exposed from Carrie Welder, because it really does put into perspective in a very clear way with real world examples how interconnected and intertwined and together the two parties are, Democrat and Republican. So thank you to Carrie Welder. She's great. I've been talking to her on Twitter. You should follow her. And let's take a look at this, and then we'll go back to the live chat. Oh.
Hysteria. One way to understand what's happening right now comes from a book that inspired America's top propagandist, Edward Bernays, who helped engineer public support for things like World War I, helped promote and sanitize the CIA coup in Guatemala, and spoke openly about the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the masses. The Crowd, written in 1895 by Gustave Le Bon, discusses how leaders implant beliefs and sentiments into collective groups. In this case, the American left and right, which are both absolutely losing it in different ways after the Kirk assassination, as each faction fixates on this country's evils. But the roots of these reactions go back to long before he was shot. Le Bon named 3 main steps to stir up a crowd that require previous preparation. The first step in controlling a crowd is affirmations. Le Bon said that to influence a crowd, the rhetoric must be simple and clear. Some examples of affirmations about America's worst threats right now are
right-wing extremism,
democracy is at risk,
fascism for the left wing, and
radical left,
Democrats hate America,
leftist lunatics
for the right wing. But Le Bon said affirmation alone is not enough. Repetition is key. Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels agreed, saying propaganda had to be simple and repetitious.
Right-wing extremism.
right-wing extremism,
right-wing extremism,
Democracy is at risk.
Democracy is at risk.
democracy is at risk,
Fascists.
Fascism.
radical left,
radical far left,
radical left,
Democrats hate America,
they hate our country,
they hate America,
far left lunatic,
Leftist lunatics.
is that a radical left lunatic?
A current of opinion is formed, and the powerful mechanism of contagion intervenes. Ideas, sentiments, emotions, and beliefs are all contagious in crowds. A panic that has seized a few sheep will soon extend to the whole flock. The contagion of polarizing beliefs has been spreading for years, but Kirk's killing has unleashed a fresh wave of all the crowd's simmering outrage, disdain, divisiveness, and fear. When Kirk was killed, it wasn't just that single event that whipped so many people into a frenzy, but the activation of years and decades of high-stakes, hyper-emotional programming and all the imagery that's come with it. And it happens for far more things than his assassination. I'm not saying the entire Kirk horror story has been intentionally engineered, but people's ideas, behaviors, and feelings are boiling over right in line with all the narratives they've been eating up for years, and ruling authorities are milking it for all it's worth. A Bernays quote about World War I applies to so much more. The manipulators of patriotic opinion made use of the mental cliches and the emotional habits of the public to produce mass reactions against the alleged atrocities, the terror, and the tyranny of the enemy. Add in the never-ending news cycle, social media addiction, and all the chronic stress and fight-or-flight overload. Then add in a never-ending stream of partisan divide-and-conquer propaganda that keeps people fighting each other and blind to the realities of the authoritarian Uni-party dystopia. And is it any wonder the masses are falling into what appears to be collective mania?
Absolutely brilliant from my perspective. Collective mania. It's something that is inflicted upon us, we the people of the United States of America, something that has been inflicted upon us for many, many years. And she says, the affirmations, the repetition is so critical, and just the hyper emotionalism. And I see this. I mean, This is how people can switch so quickly from one side to the other, or anti-censorship to pro-censorship, because they are so conditioned to believe that the other side is evil, vile, other. They're out to get us. They're out to kill us. And believe me, there are a whole host of Democrats who think the same thing about Republicans. In fact, I probably have some neighbors in my village who believe that I'm a she-devil, right? That I am coming to get them because I'm an evil right-wing lunatic, even though I criticize this administration and the Republican Party and have criticized them for really the entirety of my broadcast career, starting 12 years ago. And so it is, and it's an addiction to outrage. I agree with you, CJP Rumble, but it's also the othering. They frighten you, they scare you, they use hyperbole. The images of burning towns and cities, the images of gang violence and cartels. For the left, the images of the KKK and right-wingers with, toting their guns and acting in violent ways. Like, it's just blasted at us 24/7 relentlessly through the mainstream news media and also social media. And so we're getting this where it's training our minds. And so people are heightened, they're anxious, they're fearful. And rather than being angry at the government, the people who are deploying this type of propaganda that is fueled by data collection, right? So now that we're on social media, they have a million data points on what makes every person tick. And so they know exactly what to zap you with on your social media, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or Twitter. You name it, they have your profile. So you have trigger points, and they will utilize your trigger points and deploy them against you with imaging and rhetoric that is designed to make you feel things, right? Not think rationally, but feel things. Fear, anxiety, and hatred to the other. This is why they send so many images of the most obnoxious, smug, horrifying, blue-haired librarians and teachers saying terrible things about what they're going to do to your children, right? Those people don't really exist. Now, you know me, I've gone to war with my school district. I was arrested for wearing my mask improperly at a school board meeting, all right? So I have been no fan of public education and what happens in many of the classrooms. But I will say, I've had 3 children who have gone through the public school system. And while there are very troubling elements within the public school system, I can say that they have had some amazing, lovely teachers and sentries and administrators, not all of them, who are actually quite wonderful to me and to my children. Okay, so this narrative that you get, and believe me, the right is getting a narrative on the left, and the left is getting a narrative on the right. They're deploying that to us, and that is dividing us hopelessly. And this is how we get censorship every single time, right? Because during the COVID lockdowns, the left, they were vicious, they were monsters, and they wanted to censor anyone who didn't want to wear a mask or get a vaccine because they were so afraid of getting COVID and dying, right? So that fear and anxiety turned into hatred to their fellow man, and they turned their heads when the Biden administration deployed horrifying censorship agendas against the American people through social media. And I was a victim of that as well, completely censored, thrown off of Facebook, permanently suspended on Twitter, and had dozens upon dozens of my videos removed from YouTube. They were very, very dark times. And that was inflicted upon so-called conservatives or freedom warriors in 2020 and beyond by the Biden administration, right? So all of those people who are so vicious are now on the complete other side of the aisle. Right? Now the left cares about the Constitution and free speech and Jimmy Kimmel. And it's the right now who wants to smash you down because they're afraid of the vicious Antifa terrorists and, all of the illegal immigrants and cartels that have been ushered over the border by Donald Trump, by the way, during his administration and now, right? And so they just swap sides. It's easy to swap sides in that way when you have been conditioned, when you have been propagandized, hypnotized, and mind numbed into mass formation. And this is how they play the two parties against each other. And I really want to thank Carrie Welder for that great video. I thought it was a great video. What did you guys think about it? Hey, Wind Dasher, great to see you on the live chat. Well, yeah, the left and the right, here's the other thing though. It is a small minority of the left and the right. Sadly, some of them are in my family on the right. But I think that the majority of the American people, if you were to go out into, a busy, square, village square, or a public space, and ask people, normal people, about these type of things, I think you will find that the vast majority of the American people are regular people. They want to be left alone. They are not hyper partisan, but all of this is driven by the hyper partisan people who are suspect and susceptible to this type of manipulation. And sadly, it's probably about 10% on either side. But that's how they continue to keep us on the plantation, so to speak. And this is why this is why no matter which administration it is, whether it's Biden or Trump, they will continue with the same policies of the expansion of the control state, the expansion of the federal government, the expansion of the digital prison, the fleecing of the American people, the devaluation of our dollar, the profligate spending through boondoggle budgets that are virtually identical from Bush 1 to Obama to Donald Trump to Joe Biden to Donald Trump again. Identical budgets. This is how they get away with it. And I hope this has been an interesting discussion. Because again, I wouldn't go into it in such detail if I didn't think it was important. I think it's the number one thing that is keeping people from seeing the truth. The scales will fall from your eyes when you realize there is no lesser of two evils. Both the parties are equally evil and they work together. All right? So there we go. All right, my friends. I want to thank you for being with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. I want to thank TJ, who produced the show so brilliantly. We got to a lot. We have much more to get to. I'm going to try to do a freestyle tomorrow without all of you. No producers, no show prep, no planning. Heck, I might not even put makeup on. You never know what you're going to get on a Friday with the Shannon Joy Show. So I think we're going to try to do a full live tomorrow. Just you and me, the live chat, loosey-goosey. You can ask me any of your questions. And there's a lot of stuff that I want to tell you. We have a lot happening, a lot of growth for the Shannon Joy Show coming in the next couple weeks, which I want to tell you about. So we will have a family meeting, so to speak, tomorrow on the Shannon Joy Show. So I want you all to meet me back right here. It's probably going to be just about an hour. We're not going to do the full 90 minutes. And we're going to have some fun. So I'll give you all of the updates about the growth and expansion of the show and hopefully get a lot of feedback from all of you. I want to hear from you. Are we running too many commercials? Are we running too few commercials? Do you like the content? Do you want me to include other content? What kind of guests do you want me to have on the show? I always like to see what you guys want to hear or what you want to discuss and who you want to hear from. So yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow on the Shannon Joy Show. So thank you to all of you. Again, thank you to our sponsors, especially our friends at Brightcore. If you guys want to try kimchi, you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to go to, what is the URL? It is mybrightcore.com/joy. And right off the bat, you get 25% off if you want to get the kimchi there. If you want 50% off plus free shipping plus a free bottle of D3, use the 800 number and talk to someone. Like, I love the idea of that. 888-912-4317. That's 888-912-4317. I'll pop that up in the live chat after the show, but you guys are great. Thank you to Colonial Metals Group. Gold and silver are going through the roof. Seriously, those of you who I told you 2 years ago, get your gold and silver, get your IRA, back up your retirement with gold and silver. Those of you who did it with Colonial Metals Group are very, very happy right now because not only is gold up close to 3,800, people are predicting it's going to go to well over 4,000 in the next couple weeks. And if it becomes the basis of the world currency, which is what China and the BRICS countries are trying to do, then it could go, there is no limit to where gold and silver could go as things fall apart. And that's your bridge. That's your hedge. So it is not too late to get a gold and silver strategy in place. I implore you, call my friends, over at Colonial Metals Group, colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. They have an 800 number as well. Call it, talk to the representatives, tell them that I sent you. They'll take very good care of you. They love the Joy audience, and it is low pressure. They don't use, high pressure sales tactics or fear campaigns. They just meet you right where you are. They can talk about physical gold and silver that you keep in a safe, or backing up your retirement account right now with physical gold and silver, because it appears that, some type of collapse is imminent. We're seeing that with what gold is doing right now. And also, as more and more people are realizing that this tech bubble is like the bubble to end all bubbles. And that's becoming more and more evident. We're going to hit that topic with Catherine Austin Fitts next week on the Shannon Joy Show. And I'm going to do heavy focus on the economy. So we'll see if we can get some other great experts in as well. All right, you guys are fantastic. Thank you for being with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. We will be back tomorrow to do it all again right here live on the Shannon Joy Show. We'll see you then.